Hello?
The screen was just black. I didn't even realize this stream had started. Hi.
I'm alive.
Hi.
Mostly.
Hi. Hi.
Wow. All right.
This guy.
Well, hello, everyone.
This freaking guy.
I've returned from whence I came.
This freaking guy.
But I do have something new and exciting to work on.
Says he has something new and exciting. I have been I have been filling my. I'm gonna go clean this out. I have been filling this. I just want you to know, chat. Welcome to Monday. I have been filling this with fresh water every time it evaporates down to about half full. I haven't cleaned it out in months. It will evaporate because we live in Arizona and that's what water does.
It's be so gross.
So the water will evaporate down, right? And I'll fill it with clean water. Do you see the floaties? That's minimal floaties. Like, that's as little floaties as you'll ever see in this cup. I feel like I want to dump it out.
Agitated a little bit.
I want to feel like I want to dump it out just to see what's growing in this thing.
Not gonna look good.
Oh! 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 That last little... How you feeling over there, Baby J?
Oh, you know, just doing
dude.
great. The most I've talked today in 5 or 6 days.
I think it's bubbling.
Disgusting.
I think it's bubbling. I think if I reach down in there with the thing, probably peel that out.
Thanks, Ralph.
That's like, ugh.
I did get a haircut. This was before my...
That's not solid.
It was before my foray.
It smells like acrylic paint. Actually, I love how I just stuck my nose in it. Somebody goes, I bet that smells great. I'm like, so it doesn't smell like swamp. It smells like acrylic paint. But it sure looks bad. All right, I'm going to go wash that out real quick, and I'll be right back.
My food never arrived, by the way. How's everyone doing? Is everyone doing all right? You having a good time? Whew. My body is not ready, chat. But it has to be. Gotta be ready, chat. Good to be back. Creepy, starting a Sons of Horus army. Well, I'm starting an army of my own. Like I was talking about... like I was talking about last week, or a couple of weeks ago. I have it here today to start priming. So we got some cool stuff to paint today, chat. I've been at work while I've been laid out trying to put some of this stuff together. And man, is it cool. I don't even know where this goes. This goes over here. Yeah, this model is sick. I am super stoked. Well, let's get going. I got a whole army to paint. I'm gonna prime this stuff up. Hello. Welcome back. I need to seal.
It's sort of shiny. Sorta.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Sorta shiny. Nearly killed me. Like as soon as I poured water in there, tentacles came up out of there. You can't keep your water sitting on the desk or the cats knock it over. Cats are jerks. That's just all there is to it. T. Schmidt's like on the job for a month, takes a whole damn week off. The noive. See?
Don't even get started with me.
See? Some new video game comes out. He has to play sick. See how long it takes him to start throwing sharp objects at me.
Look, I made it about as obvious as I possibly could that I was very sick. I even came in for 20 minutes on Thursday.
Jen was like, I think he made it 30 minutes.
Yeah. I came in and Jason was like, you should probably go home. I was like,
so
yeah, I probably should.
Yeah. Being here and feeling like crap turns out doesn't do anybody any good. Least of all yourself. I ain't trying to have you die, baby J. Not trying to have you die.
Me neither. Turns out I really like being here. Well, apparently Chad is saying that you were trying to have me killed.
So, there's this thing.
We need to talk about this.
There's this thing called plausible deniability. I want to teach you some words today, baby.
Well, I know what plausible deniability is.
Plausible deniability. And my basis for plausible deniability is completely and firmly rooted in the fact that chat are liars.
Uh-huh. What they would say. That's so what you would say.
I'm gonna go with no. Why would I ever do something like that? Chat, you're traitors, by the way. Traitors all.
This is nothing new.
Can't be trusted. Usual murder fuse over here. I've never hurt another human being at all that anybody can actually like trace back to me.
I have to admit, Jason, these new Seraphon models
are horrible, and you shouldn't have played lizards.
Pretty dope.
There you go. Horrible and shouldn't have played lizards. Awful.
Look, I know you don't like the lizards.
Awful human being.
They're really cool.
Are they though?
I think so.
I really liked some, and that Lord Croak model is still. Do you have him?
I do. He's built.
What?
Yeah.
Are you over there priming him?
No, this is just a slan.
Just a slan?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the same model though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Croak is huge.
Yeah, it has like the whirling thing.
It's on the same base, but it's literally like this.
Yeah. I didn't paint a damn thing all weekend. I was planning on priming some BattleTech stuff for our scenario that we played. And I didn't even get a chance to do that because I took so long to write the scenario.
That table looks great, by the way.
Turned out pretty good. Not too shabby. Arctic. I've spoken to you about our Lord and Savior of acrylic.
Yikes.
Don't die over there, right?
Yeah. Didn't help that I didn't actually end up getting my lunch.
What? What happened?
Hadn't arrived yet. They were super delayed, apparently.
Did you let somebody know it's coming?
I did, yeah. I like Christian, though.
Taylor says lizards are cool, can confirm. Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong.
So what you got against the lizards?
They're lizards, cold-blooded freaking cheaters. Can't trust anything, man, that's like cold-blooded like that. They're not gonna be your friends. They're just gonna tell you what you want to hear and then backstab you. That's what they do. Snakes, lizards.
They also like kill chaos stuff.
I mean, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend necessarily. Damn. Just saying. Then you use a heat rock. Lizard here, lizard, 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 lizard.
I watched a couple of fun movies. Watched a terrible TV show.
Was it called The Last Ship?
It was.
Can't watch it. It's horrible. I've given it a shot. If you're out there, tough noogies, man. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, Mo, I watched like 3 seasons of it.
You watched 3 seasons of that?
Yeah, I was deliriously sick. What else
That's
am I
no
gonna
excuse. What else were you going to do? There's a million things that you could have done besides give them a views on that show, because now they're going to make another season, all because of you.
do? No, it's already done.
Oh, thank God. They're going to bring it back as in from the world of The Last Ship.
I'm gonna be honest, the first season was fine. Once you got past that like first episode. The second season was fine. Third season was okay. But there's some like main characters that are no longer in the show that you're just kind of like, what the fuck? Excuse me, what the heck? Why do these characters not exist in this show anymore? It's kind of like their whole purpose of being show.
How they just get fired or quit?
Or get dead
Oh, they got killed.
in the show, yeah. And I was like, Well, that kind of was out of nowhere. Obviously, this person no longer wanted to be on the show anymore.
Dower, there was a time in your life where you were on the precipice of greatness. I was about to profess my liking of you. And then? And you did this to yourself, my friend.
What'd you say now, Dower?
Said, can we get rid of this Jason guy and get Jen back?
Oh, no.
Bring Jen back for one stream. The Jen and Chaos J power would be extreme. Jen would destroy him. Remember, Jen is all about burning the heretics.
Jen's too nice to do that.
You haven't been here very long, have you?
No. No, I have not.
Jen is,
Yeah.
Jen's a force to be reckoned with. I don't know that you quite understand the power.
The power?
In that little frame. To exude great amounts of killing force. Don't ruin it. This is my one chance for someone to think I'm nice. Oh, Baby J, she's great. She's super nice.
Look. I can only use my powers of observation. Okay? And those powers of observation so far have deemed Jen to be quite a nice and enjoyable person to be around.
So, I don't want to ruin anything here. Okay? But, I had to give her extra rationing of cookies to be nice to you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I bet. Bet that's exactly what I... Isn't that right, Jen?
Saying. I mean, I did cover his models before I used the airbrush. I walked by him today and I go, so I want you to be prepared for something, Jordan.
Don't worry, I didn't...
I was like, I want you to be prepared. Jen painted at your station on Friday. Jen says if you're not a heretic, everything should be fine. But he is!
Except I'm not.
But you are!
Not in this timeline.
Oh, here we go, multiversing it.
Yep.
Using the multiverse as an escape route.
Look, we are in the part of the universe where I am order first and foremost.
I'm gonna need some Gatorade for this level of heresy.
Look like you're struggling a little bit over there.
Look at her in chat. She's like, burn the heretics! That... So there was a time where we were at Jen, we said, hey Jen, so this is what these people do. I think I was painting the model of her, right? She's in a Space Marine suit. I have it, she's got the big plasma incinerator. And I was like, she's like, so what does this do? And she has this smile, like, you know, if you've seen the mini.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've seen the mini.
Right. So she's smiling. She's like grinning. And it's like burn the heretics. And so live on stream, she said it live. I don't know if anybody clipped it, but it was like burn the heretics and her big smile and, you know, jovial Jen. So now you're doomed because you're a chaos lover. I just called it out live on stream. I outed you. I don't care. I don't even care. I don't even feel bad about it. Ow! Both. What? Chatty, spray the airbrush at me.
Only
He strategically kept it down below camera level so you can't see, but he sprayed. No, now you can see. Now he's spraying the airbrush at me. This is what I have to put up with.
good to be back. All right.
Jen says she's down to paint a Lisa Frank style Horus until she starts painting the model, at which point in time she'll look at me and she'll go, "You have to finish this."
All right.
I don't even think Jen can last. She can't patience her way through a Horus model, I don't believe.
All right, chat and Jason. So I'm painting these models. How do I paint them? What's the strat here?
The brush. Do I win? Do I win?
Correct.
New high score? What does that mean? Is that bad?
Horrible. Freaking horrible.
New high score. What does that mean? Do I win? What do I win?
Nothing.
This was horrible. Why did I even play this game?
Just because of that, we're doing jungle bases.
Gonna what?
Just because of that, we're doing jungle bases.
We're doing jungle bases with like aquarium plants, just to piss me off.
Yep.
Yep. And you're not gonna paint them. You're not gonna paint them. You're gonna leave them that glossy plastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about doing sandy like desert Seraphon. But nope, because of the way you've been treating me. We're just doing jungle Seraphon instead. All your fault.
Love how he says it like I care, Chad. I honestly think if you're gonna do Seraphon, I feel like the jungle stuff makes it work.
I agree.
I think mainly because I always picture skinks as the jungle lizards, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's just key. Part and parcel to the whole thing. I'm going to be here painting bronze armor for, I don't know, 50 years. I always wanted to live to 100. Chat, do you realize that in 2 weeks, I will be turning 53?
Really now? You have the glue over there?
50 freaking 3. What is up with that? Do I have what? Do I have what?
The glue.
The glue?
The glue.
Probably. Yeah, Jen, babe, I don't think Horus would hold your attention. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's a lot.
It's a cool model.
It's a very cool model. It's just
It is ridiculous.
a lot of ridiculousness. And all the ridiculousness is in that minutia.
Yeah, it's also not a fun kind of ridiculous.
At the end, right? Like when you feel like you've made all the progress. Here we are. We're at the finish line, and here's 50,000 doodads you have to do right at the end. Oh, look, neat. There's a head, like half a face poking out from this piece of fur back here. That's neat. What a great idea.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
It looks good when it's done,
It does.
but it's just too much. Yeah, but I mean, it's par for the course. Welcome to G-Dub. Zinchify Horus. Jen with all of her colors. Lots of pinks and oranges and yellows. The new range of Seraphon is so amazing. It would be sweet if the Salon could have the skull as well as the scepter. Is that a weapon choice?
They don't even have like weapons. It's just an optional arm swap.
Oh, okay.
Like a staff with a skull or a staff with a.
Oh, gotcha. Like an orb.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotten pretty good at putting those variations into kits.
They have.
I'm surprised that it doesn't, if it's an option.
Oh, it exists. You can put it on there.
Oh, it's in the kit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Having built it.
Yeah, well, Kambaja says that they're having to convert it, so I don't think you do. Babe J's saying it's on there. Maybe dig through your bit file and...
Oh, I think he's talking about the skull and the scepter at the same time.
Oh.
Because they're in the same hand.
Oh, I see. Can you have both of them equipped?
No, because they're in the same hand. They don't have like war gear like that. It's just for aesthetics.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's like no.
Three-handed Salon time. Order another Salon arm from eBay. You have Chaos Mutated Salon. Make it happen. Salon of Nurgle. Nurgle lizards. I would go for the Zinchi, like, Quetzalcoatl Salon style thing. I think you need to make that happen, baby.
What's that?
You need to do them like Zinchi and Seraphon, like Quetzalcoatl or something, right?
How so?
What do you mean, how so? Like, you do it. Turn him into, like, instead of a frog, you make him like a big flying lizard guy.
Oh.
With wings and...
Yeah, I'm good.
He's damn good. Lame. Take a bunch of like blue horror bits, put them in on your inks. Everything has 3 arms.
Hey, Stoney, how's it going?
Zinch infested Seraphon, right? I mean, you wouldn't even have to do Zinch infested. You could just have the Seraphon be like that type of Quetzalcoatl, like flying snake.
It would be cool.
Like Seraphon as snake people, as opposed to he's gonna kill me, dude. He's like hacking his guts up. I'm gonna be the one that gets sick now.
I don't think that's the point of where I'm at anymore.
Grain, what's going on? Like now I do want Seraphon like snake people.
I also kind of do.
I don't. One of the things that I've never liked is I don't like lizards riding lizards. I think that's lazy. And so when you have like the whatever the Croxagores on, you know, big dinosaurs, it just never makes sense to me. Like you should have something different. Screen says, just wanted to say thank y'all for responding to your question on Twitter earlier today. I appreciate it. Well, we appreciate you. Glad we could help. What was the question? Trash Domain, what's going on? How are you assuming? Huh? Huh? What?
I'm assuming well, thank you.
Oh yeah, about the transparent colors. Yeah, I was telling. I think I answered that one actually about the transparent for CMYK. The blue is not a true cyan. It's not going to have that little hint of kind of moving towards a turquoise, but it works really well for mixing all the colors you're going to want. A little bit of white transparent in there, and it'll get you where you need. Lizards riding saber-toothed tigers. I like that. All right. All right. So much metal.
So while I did watch bad television, I did manage to watch a decent couple of movies.
Oh yeah, what'd you watch?
I watched the new show on Amazon called Air, or the new movie rather, with Brad Pitt and not Brad Pitt. The two that did that always do movies together.
Okay, so I'm not your Huckleberry. I'm horrible at that.
I know, I can't remember the name. Matt Damon, thank you. Matt Damon and
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck, thank you. I always get those two mixed up. But that movie was quite good. It's called Air.
Air?
It's about Nike acquiring.
Oh, right. It was like signing Nike and Michael Jordan and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot
It
of great
seemed
actors
kind of
in it.
like a modern Jerry Maguire. Like a telling kind of story like
Sure? I don't know that reference.
You've never seen Jerry Maguire?
No. Remember, I'm like 12 years old. Okay?
What?
Yeah, I'm like 12 years old. Slow your roll.
What?
Yeah.
Jen, he says he's never seen Jerry Maguire. I don't know how to act. Jerry Maguire is Tom Cruise as a all-out sports agent guy. Who leaves his corrupt office thinking he would just take all his customers with him, but none of them went with him. They all stayed with the corrupt office. And so he had one client that decided to stay with him, who was an upstart player for the Arizona Cardinals, who was Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's an amazing movie.
Okay. I believe you.
It's a feels good, entertaining romp.
Jen, I believe that was you. And him.
What's that? Who hired this guy?
Yeah.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yes, I have indeed heard that phrase.
He has not seen Point Break. It is a Slan floaty chair. He is painting Slan. He's painting all of the Seraphon.
Yeah, I have a whole army.
Shovels Models, what's going on? Trash Domain, most people watch bad television, that's why you don't watch. I have a hard time with TV because it is generally not able to keep my attention due to various unsundry levels of bad. We tried to watch something, was it last night, Jen? Jen and I tried to watch something last night. It was called Love and Death.
Love, Death, and Robots?
No, it's just called Love and Death. It's got the Scarlet Witch actress in it.
Not good.
It's just very slow and droning, and it's a couple has an affair, then wife of man ends up dead. And I assume we're going to think that the woman in the affair killed her. I don't know. It's a series. Set in like mid-70s Texas.
Yeah. I think I've seen some promos or something for it.
Yeah, the period nature of it is really good. Like, it feels neat the way they did all of the 70s stuff. The soundtrack has some epic moments to it. It's just very slow to get going. Those types of things kind of lose me sometimes and lose Jen. At first, it looked like there might be some hope for it. I don't know that we'll watch another, but we might give it another episode. Yeah, the soundtrack was the best part by far.
It's still my goal to get you to watch For All Mankind.
What's that?
It's still my goal to get you to watch For All Mankind.
Well, that's the one that's on the thing we don't subscribe to, though.
Yep. I have a goal. I will be victorious.
I will be victorious. I like it. I like your spunk.
I have the power within and without.
Like your energy, kid.
I like my energy too. It gets me places.
Armor on this guy is what I like.
Yeah, that armor is coming along really nice.
Big Bob, what's going on, man? To weed out the undesirables, the first interview question should be: have you seen the Holy Grail? What is the unladen airspeed?
Couple of coconuts, right?
Bad TV makes pathetic new generations. Well, that doesn't bode well because there's been bad TV since TV was invented, so that speaks volumes.
You just got to tell them to make better TV. That's the real key.
You got to get out from in front of the TV anyway. Sit in front of your monitor and watch paint dry. That is what makes good societies. Watching Baby J and I paint amazing miniatures.
Model's great. It's got a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's a GW model, right?
It's true. We're painting this stuff fast, by the way, chat. This is not going to be super fancy. This is an army project, so
Get her done.
yeah, I'm planning to have this model done in 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, holy heck.
Like I said, it's an army project.
That's awesome.
So we're going to go through, to the best of my ability, explaining kind of the process for this, which is largely just defining all of the little bits and bobs, painting them all kind of the same color, if they can be the same color, and then using washes and filters to create separation between all of these things, and using highlights sparingly where they're needed to really sell the important pieces. And then stuff like painting the underside of things. We're just not going to worry about it too much. Lots of glazes. Use the transparents a lot is my goal.
It is awesome the way the transparents can speed things up without sacrificing quality.
Yep.
Hughes tells us that all the time. I'm going to paint this in 2 days. And then it's like a display quality army. Well, I try hard not make it feel that way. Want to see true exasperation with somebody saying, oh yeah, we're just doing this quick. Go watch Eric Swenson paint his Death Watch Marines for Kill Team. You really want to know what it feels like, chat? Be like, yeah, you're lying. Go watch Eric.
That guy
paint
paints.
His death watch.
That guy paints real fast, though. I have to admit, he paints really fast.
Love and Death, not great. HBO, yes, correct, not great.
Oh, I also watched the Tetris movie.
Oh, the movie about like the making of it or something?
About the licensing snafus of it and going to the USSR during the end times of the USSR to get licensing for it. It was fun.
Weird that I never played Tetris. I played it like once or twice.
Yeah, I've only played it a couple of times.
That's just one of two games that your dad ever played on Nintendo. The other was Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario? I don't know this. Yeah, I knew a lot of people that never played video games that Tetris got them into spending time in front of playing video games, though. You know, it was like Minefield.
Yes.
Minefield was like the thing that people would play who were like, I don't play video games. I saw you playing Minefield. That doesn't count. Yeah, but you two are weird. Wait a minute. Drac, what is going on, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. How the heck are you? Is the basing paste strong enough adhesive on its own to hold on to something like foam bricks? Yes. Yeah, the basing paste you can put on any surface, and the acrylic will adhere as long, especially something like foam bricks that are super absorbent, right? Or maybe not absorbent, but they have a lot of porosity to them, right? Assume they're open cell foam. He's breaking out the big word, science. Science. Porosity. 4 syllables, man. I said I wasn't going to do those types of words for you guys. Sorry.
Keep it coming. I'm all about it.
Sorry.
Said porosity.
Everybody in chat had to clap to determine if that word was something they could understand.
Porosity in determining or explaining the amount of porousness in a thing.
Amount of porousness?
Yeah. The level of
porousness isn't.
Okay. I know that's what porosity is used to describe. You're dumbing down the word is
how porous the thing.
Yes.
Or the measurement. Open cell foam, like I would assume you're making terrain bricks and things like that out of, highly porous. Got a million holes in it. How many times did you clap, though? Arctic, you clapped 5. Admit it. Not because you thought the word had 5 syllables, but because you just started having fun clapping. He's a baby. Shut up. I love you, Arctic. Maybe. Shut up. 3.7 times of clapping? Wait a minute. What's 0.7 of a clap? Kind of poking around in the darkness here on this side so we can give a little bit of reflection on what is otherwise going to be a fairly dark part of the armor. It's always a juggling game to say, hey, how bright do you want to take the light across the model? Because in reality, well, I guess it's tough to say in reality what would happen, because we haven't really set up how bright the light is in this scene anyway. But generally, because the breadth of this guy's shoulders can't be more than, 30 inches probably. Maybe 3 feet if he's huge. So the light isn't going to dim too much from this side to this side as far as how reflective it gets things, right? So we, as mini painters, want to kind of create a false contrast to keep interest on the model where we want it. We'll guide it to be either brighter or darker than it would really be. Do that. That's what I mean by juggling. I'm always looking at it, evaluating. I'll keep something like this less bright to start, and then evaluate and say, okay, well, maybe we'll pump it up a little bit. Drac, you need to start painting again? If only you can find the time. What have you been doing lately? What eats up all your time? Family? Hope everything has been going well regardless. Good to see you.
Games played poorly. It's been a rough ride.
Baby J's dying, if you can't tell.
Didn't help that I never got my lunch.
I was gonna say, is it still not? Oh, I guess it. Did you
it's
tell him to
probably
bring it
here.
in to you?
I can go grab it.
I was gonna say, you can sit here and talk and eat soup. Poor Baby J. Out sick all last week. He missed out on a lot of fun this weekend. He was supposed to go play some Age of Sigmar and have a good time, and missed out on that because he was sick. We all got to play a really cool Battletech scenario. Gabe and put it up in the Discord if you saw it or not. Gabe and new guy Phil and I decided to do so. They were going to play Age of Sigmar on Saturday, but when Baby Jake was sick, it turned into, hey, you want to play Battletech at the office? And I was like, yeah, cool. We can do a custom scenario for 3 of us. We were hoping Christmas Sushi would also join in, but he was busy. Had some family stuff he had to do. And so I wrote up a really cool scenario that we did, and we played it on a bunch of Saturday and into Sunday, believe it or not. It wound up being 2 days worth of Battletech for us, and the guys loved it, so it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Soup!
Is arrived.
Soup! Game night sound like they kick ass. Well, we didn't do it on Friday game night. We didn't actually have anybody here other than Ruben and Eric, little Potter. On Friday, I sat and shot the shoot with them on Friday night for a little bit, but they finished up pretty early, and then we left. But like I said, when Baby J knew he wasn't going to be able to go do anything on Saturday, the guys he was supposed to go do stuff with sent me a text. And so we did Battletech scenario, which was a lot of fun. I wrote up a custom scenario.
The Arctic Manning Painting Studio.
Take it easy. Got to get to work. Have a good day, man. One of your favorite Battletech scenarios is one where one side had mechs going into a town filled with vehicles. Mechs were losing legs to ramming damages left and right. The problem with ramming with a vehicle is that you pretty much instantly lose the vehicle in cases. Unless it's just a city filled with like 80-ton assault tanks. No, we did. I wrote a scenario because there was only 3 of us. Oh, we couldn't get Chris to play. He had family stuff. He came and watched for a little bit. But we had I forget what I called it. I wrote out a whole mission briefing sheet for them, typed it out like it was a mission transmission.
That's cool.
To them, you know, and it typed out the story behind the mission and then laid out the mission objectives and victory points and all that kind of stuff, and gave them a smattering of information about the defensive situation. And then I had another sheet that had all of my specific defender things that they didn't know about. And so they landed on planet, and they could take 2 lances. They could take up to 8 mechs only, up to 8,000 battle value. And the defending force only had 4,000 battle value. And so I was defending with half the amount of defense, but I had some tricks up my sleeve. They had to blow up buildings. They didn't have to kill any mechs. They had to destroy the mech repair bay and the 4 ammo supply dumps. So that's what they did. They had to find a way to march into the little installation that I had terrain-wise set up, and blow up these 5 strategic buildings. And in the meantime, there was a comms tower that in their mission briefing said had been taken care of by their agent on the ground that was not taken care of. It was active. So the comms tower was jamming their communications with ECM, and also a targeting array for all of my LRMs. So it allowed my LRMs to not worry about range, right? So all I had to worry about was movement on my LRM carriers and their movement and terrain modifiers. Gave line of sight for the whole board. And I could, as long as they were within my long range, I could shoot at them. And so, so I had 2 LRM carriers, vehicles, tanks with 3 LRM-20s, and then 2 light SRM carriers, which have 5 SRM-6s apiece. So, and then I had 1 Wolverine mech. I had 1 defense mech, and the other mech was being repaired in the repair bay, and they had 15 turns to destroy all of the buildings. And if at turn 10, the repair bay was still standing, then the mech inside of it went active. So they had 10 turns to destroy it, which they didn't. So on turn 10, it was there, so I got another Wolverine. But they still wound up winning. Because the rules I had, whenever they shot the supply dumps, they got to roll a hit location, and if they did the through armor crit, they just blew it up. It lost all of its hit points. It went nuke, and it acted like a 250-ton mech with speed 4 as far as its AoE. So I had to keep my vehicles positioned away from the buildings. It didn't let me hug those buildings for strategic cover, because if they critted, I'd lose a vehicle instantaneously. It would do 100 damage to anything right next to it. So a vehicle can't stand that. So, you know, it was really cool, because the way it was written didn't just give the defender bonuses. The defender had to be smart about where they piloted. But they crit 3 of the buildings. 3 out of 4 of the buildings they rolled Snake Eyes to crit on. So that sped the clock up too much. So it only went like 10 turns. I think, or 11 turns, and the mech that I got didn't really change anything. It was just fun.
That's cool, though.
They didn't know that on turn 10 anything happened. They knew when they came in and they got close enough, they rolled a perception check. They basically rolled a sensor check and found out that the repair bay was active with a mech inside, but they couldn't figure it out because of the ECM jamming what was inside. So they didn't know, and they never got close enough to figure that out until turn 10, another Wolverine walked out. But it was 2 Wolverines, exactly the same, 2 7K Wolverines. I didn't throw anything brutal at them. The SRM carriers missed the entire game. That's the reason I lost. My SRM carrier on like 6s, getting into the back arc of a mech needing 6s and hit 1 SRM-6. Ah!
That's horrible.
I gotta hit the head. You tell fart jokes, I'll be back.
What's he gonna do in the head? Fart. Number 1 fart joke for the day, chat. Oh. Yeah. Talking is difficult, chat. Good to be here, but man, my voice is so screwed right now. T. Schmidt, wish you lived closer. Yeah, the game nights are a lot of fun. The crews around here are super fun. Really nice people. I'm not gonna do anything mean to the guy. I, however, am faint. We got a deadline, chat. Oh, I know I can do. Hold on. Doesn't need to know. My favorite Seraphon unit? As far as rules or looks? Because those are two very different things. So looks wise is the old blood on Agradon, the new one. It's the albino one that they have yet to release. The one I like the looks of the most. Rules wise would have to be like Croak or the Slan. I think their just spellcasting stuff is super cool. It's exactly what I like. I kind of felt that way when I went to bed last night. I was just like, oh my gosh. I generally prefer to paint fully assembled stuff. I hate doing sub-assemblies. Just too tedious. Although sometimes it is necessary, so I will do it when I feel like I need to. Great example is like this LAN. Right? Have this LAN be separate. But like I glued these guys on. I didn't want to mess with it. Welcome back. How's your farts?
You steal my stuff?
No. I didn't steal anything.
Who stole my stuff? Where's my stuff?
I didn't steal anything. Stole nothing.
Hugh Hefner. What's going on? Back. Catch up. What'd I miss? What's your favorite Seraphon unit? Now's the time to switch that camera lens out with your stations. He has the same lens.
I do have the same. I only stole nothing.
Games played poorly. Do you prefer to paint on fully assembled models or partially? Did you answer that?
I did. You can also give your perspective.
I like fully assembled.
Kind of what I said.
Very easy to tell hanging out here. I don't like doing sub-assemblies unless I absolutely have to, or some cases it makes some sense.
This was a good example of one that I said. Having the LAN be separate. So you can paint this LAN.
Yeah.
Just put them in. Because that's not hard to do. Thank you for the follow, Resin Poisoning.
Resin poisoning, I like it.
Hey, somebody likes us.
He appropriated your stuff. It hasn't left the building, so technically not theft yet.
What have I appropriated?
I don't know. You Hefner just threw you under the bus.
I didn't steal anything. I did two things.
He zoomed my camera out.
Look, I had to give chat what they wanted, okay?
What do they want?
They wanted more than that, but...
Mean bastages. Soon as I leave, hey, mess with his stuff.
They wanted me to steal stuff.
Rotten bastages, chat. Whole lot of you.
I concur.
Mo, has the Battletech campaign started yet? No, but we set a date of Friday after this one. Is when Phil is going to attempt to have it ready to go. That doesn't mean it'll happen, but that's his goal right now. His day zero or game zero timeline is for a week from this Friday. Game night, assuming all goes well, we will be set to play. It'll be fun. gonna hopefully this week get everybody information on how to get their lances together. It's gonna take some time for everybody.
Started watching Mandalorian last night too.
You did what?
Started watching Mandalorian last night.
Oh, did you?
Season 3, yeah.
Season 3? What'd you think?
I liked it so far. I don't know what people are getting all weird about.
I think people are just fed up with Disney. And whether they turn out good stuff or not, people are just fed up.
Sure.
I've read a lot of reviews that say that the new Guardians of the Galaxy is actually really good. But that won't keep people from hating on Disney. Games played poorly, yeah. I heard it was good. Jen and I have liked all the Guardians movies, I think. This is the third one? Yeah.
I didn't care for the second one.
What was the second one?
It's the one with
The planet?
his dad.
Yeah.
The planet. Go.
I think it could have had more tie-ins to other things that were coming. But that was pretty deep in the Thanos cycle, wasn't it?
Yeah. But also didn't really have anything to do.
No, it felt very distant from everything that was going on in all actuality. It felt like it kind of put him out on an island.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. So many vines on this.
Rocket can do no wrong. The Christmas one? I didn't watch any of that.
Yeah, there was a Christmas special.
I have kind of sworn off Marvel movies. I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I haven't watched one in a while.
They haven't held anything interesting for me since Endgame.
I think the last one I watched was Wakanda Forever.
The second Black Panther one?
Yeah. Which was both bad and good.
I have to admit that when they relayed what they were doing with Namor, I lost interest. Not for any reason in particular other than that's one of the characters that I really enjoyed. Namor was always a really good dark hero in the books.
Mm-hmm.
He started out as a villain with the Fantastic Four and all of that, I think. And then as he went through the story arcs, there was always a lot of nuance to him, I felt, as a kid. Now, there may not have been. I was a kid reading comic books, but...
I mean, I thought he was the best part of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. Him and his people.
They just took him from being, I mean, I don't know, I didn't see the movie, so you can tell me differently, but they took him from being like the Marvel Aquaman.
He is still that. He is basically Aquaman.
Namor was the best. Well, maybe I'll go watch it. Although I've heard it was bad, so.
I feel like those movies are so divisive in general.
It's tough. It's like the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you are tasked with appealing to everyone when your main fandom for new stuff, right, is old fans. I don't know, and it would be interesting to see, and I don't know that you can do it with numbers or not, right? It's never really good. Statistics can be screwed around with however you want, but, you know, it's always interesting to me to think, like, is Marvel at a point where, you know, it's gaining enough momentum from new fans to not have to cater to old comic readers anymore? And I think you could say the answer is yes for the end of the last cycle of movies. Right? It had gained enough momentum that there were so many people paying attention to Avengers and everything in that cycle of storytelling that it was getting people to just go, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now that that's over and the characters they've left us are not the most intriguing characters in the Marvel universe,
yeah.
I think is fair to say. I think they got left in an unfortunate situation with Black Panther because of the untimely death of the actor, right?
Yeah.
And not
that really sucked.
That really sucked, you know, because he was great.
He was
that
great.
role
He was really good.
Came to life, whereas in the comics growing up, the Black Panther was always a great character, but always kind of a second run character, right? I guess maybe he was in the Defenders, but for a minute, so maybe not. But
I think the amazing thing about that film to me was that movie is basically all about the death of. That's what that whole movie is about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. That movie is very deeply about the horrifying things that have happened to his family.
Mm-hmm.
When losing his father, him,
yeah.
Other things that happened during the movie, like, that's why I liked it so much. Now that I think about it more.
Yeah.
Because it just had, it focused on all the right things for me. It was like, instead of just like glossing over the fact that he passed away, and that it was like, oh, new person now.
They spent
like,
a lot of time mourning.
Yeah, this whole movie is a movie of mourning for all of the characters that are part of his family, which is basically everybody in Wakanda.
Yeah.
So
even his enemies.
Yeah. Like it is, and a lot of it is like Shuri getting over, you know, and mourning her brother. And her having all of this additional responsibility.
That's what's going on.
All this stuff. It was a good movie.
Yeah, Jon Favreau put an energy to it that made you want to be a fan, no matter what it was that you're watching. Not all of them were great. You didn't get a free pass. But like I watched the what is it? The one with Angelina Jolie. Eternals.
Yeah.
I watched Eternals and it
didn't quite hit.
Boy, it felt mailed in. Is that a good way to say it? It just didn't have any emotion.
No.
It didn't grab me and make me feel like that was time well spent. It had an okay story. It was an okay movie. It was... It just didn't do it for me. and I thought the characters. I think it did a disservice to the characters because I think the characters and the dynamic between the characters could have been really good. But I think it would have had to have been a longer story arc than one movie to make it that way.
I agree.
You know, because the kind of pseudo infighting that was going on, I felt like needed longer build up.
We need more time with the characters.
Yeah, that's it. You needed more time with the characters for it to really feel like your investment was worthwhile. And one movie just to set up, you know, Kit Harington as the Black Knight, and I think that's the problem with some of the Marvel stuff, is it's just origin and set up stories for other movies.
That movie needed to be an origin movie, and then also a movie that was... They tried to do it in... Or they tried to do 2 movies in one.
Jess, yeah, I watched the whole thing. I didn't like get mad and walk out or anything. And I'm with you. I think it just was kind of okay. It didn't need to exist. Didn't make me feel invested in any of the characters, but I could see that with some extra time spent, it could have. All of the stuff from like Jack Kirby and the Fantastic Four cosmic craziness cycles of Marvel intrigues me. That's my childhood, right? So the Eternals, Galactus, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, all of this stuff that went to this weird grandiose scale before it got out of control, because there was a time where it just got out of control and everything was like alpha power level, destroy the universe, and that gets to be too much. But I find all of that to be really neat. And so it's a shame that it gets kind of diluted in this Marvel Cinematic Universe to where you don't feel the genuine importance of certain characters and their roles and things, you know. Now, I haven't seen the new Guardians movie, admittedly, so I don't know what they're doing with Adam Warlock, but
Isn't it?
you know, Adam Warlock should have been in the Thanos cycle. When I saw him in the Guardians in trailer when they introduced the egg, I thought we were going to get Adam Warlock taking the Rings of Power and beating the absolute crap out of Thanos. But then the cycle ended and he didn't even get... I'm like, okay, they're leaving him to the next one, and that's weird because one of his biggest things was fighting Thanos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like during the Infinity Wars, it was Warlock. Okay, they changed a bunch of stuff. That's fine. But to go back to what you were saying, you know, it's like they have changed so much for a new generation of Marvel enjoyers. And so it does become divisive to some point. But it shouldn't be divisive in the, you know, you're a horrible person because you liked a movie.
No.
So that part's silly.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, I would recommend doing it.
I probably won't.
Probably won't.
Nah. I don't like the South American Aztec Namor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not not my vibe for Namor. So
I thought it was really well done and it looked really cool. But I also have no background.
yeah, again, it's not for any reason other than the fact that that's not the character that I know.
Yeah.
And I know how I feel when I see some of the stuff they do with Spider-Man, you know, and it's just not for me, and that's fine. It doesn't make me, you know, hate the idea any. It just doesn't make me excited to go see it. Plus, I think I am. It sounds funny. I'm a little butthurt that they didn't find a way to give the Black Panther role to someone else. And I understand why they didn't, because in the history of Black Panther, eventually a lot of people hold the Black Panther.
Well, sure, he does become Black Panther.
What's that? No, I know, but not that quick.
Yeah.
Like Black Panther was only in a couple of movies, right?
Right.
And I know they had to speed that up due to his death, which sucks. That's why that sucks so bad. Because I would have liked to have had a few more movies
well, they
with
killed
him.
Killmonger, so that's one that they killed Killmonger. So that's one that they could have handed it to.
Right.
So,
Well, I don't even mind. I didn't want him to hand the mantle. I almost would have been better off with him replacing the actor and letting that particular iteration of the Black Panther live longer before giving it to Shuri.
yeah.
So that you could feel more attachment to that character. Because we only got one movie and then some bit parts.
It sucked. Yeah, no.
And he's a great character. Well, Black Panther as a whole is a great character, and it didn't get enough time to develop. That's nobody's fault. That's just them having to react to a situation. So.
And they were forced to do it because I don't think they were intending to.
Oh yeah, I don't think that was it. You've really had to separate the comic stories from the movies to enjoy them. But yeah, and I'm not, I'm no comic purist. Like the Infinity Gauntlet series, the Thanos stuff with the Avengers was not true to the books, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't have to find myself, saying it's okay, that's not the way it was, and all that. I thought it was really good. There were some idiosyncrasies with it, like why Adam Warlock didn't take part in it and all that. But there were so many big moments, like hair on the back of your neck standing up as all the portals open up at the end, and you're sitting there looking for the Easter eggs for all these characters that you've never seen in Marvel movies before, right? That you're like, oh my gosh, here are all the people that are. I was wanting X-Men to come through the portals, right? But yeah, I just I'm not a big enough comic book guy anymore. I haven't been for decades, so I don't want to seem like I'm on that trope. Like I don't care, and half the stuff I don't know what they recanonized after like the first Infinity Wars series came out. I just didn't pay attention to it, right? I got away from superhero comics other than the Authority, I guess. Stormwatch and the Authority were big ones on my list, but I can't. I just recently bought the entire Boys series in graphic novel format. And Invincible I followed for a little bit when it first came out. I just got the collected series for Invincible. But those are superhero comics, but in a different vein. So I got away from superhero comics for a long time. Like, period. Because I found comics that were better for me as I was growing up, right? Hellblazer, Transmetropolitan, the Swamp Thing stuff, as it tied into like all the craziness that was going on with John Constantine and that kind of stuff. So there were some really, really good books coming out of DC Vertigo for a long time that Marvel had nothing that compared.
I really like Constantine.
Maybe some of the Claremont X-Men, maybe the what was the cycle? Was it Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely that did the X-Men, where you had Cassandra Nova? I think it was Morrison and Quitely that did that. That was a really good run of X-Men, but it didn't make me want to go back and read X-Men after the fact. It was just like a good 5 or 6 or 7 episodes of X-Men that were like, this is bitchin', But then it wasn't something that drew me back into X-Men. There were just so many other good things, and that then got me into this whole world when all of those indie graphic novels started really hitting big. And that really tied me up. That was where I started going. 100 Bullets. I'm not going to be able to name it out here. Whiteout. 30 Days of Night. That kind of stuff. The Walking Dead even falls in there.
So, give me the lowdown on Constantine.
It made sense for them to pivot to a female Black Panther given the current climate in film and television. Well, those are social things that go on, and so I understand. And it actually happened in the book, so I don't even care about any of that. It didn't matter who wore it. I don't draw a distinguishing factor between whether the character is male or female. That doesn't matter to me as long as it's a good character, right? That's like we have Captain Marvel, but what happened to Marvel that was around before Captain Marvel was? Right, so we have Carol Danvers, but we don't have Marvel anywhere in the universe yet. If they're even going to do that, that doesn't bother me at all. Right, I don't care if the characters are good.
Marvel exists,
and the movies are good, huh?
Marvel, the character, exists.
In what?
In the cinematic universe.
Where?
In her movie.
Huh?
In the Miss Marvel movie or Captain Marvel movie.
What did he do?
Well, it's a she. Pretty sure.
No, Marvel was always a dude.
Well, I know, but I think they changed it.
Oh, okay.
And they made the character.
They made it what?
way less important, I think.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is that doesn't bother me at all, right? Because in reality, Marvel and the gauntlets or the whatever he had, the bracelets or whatever were cosmic level, you know, dude. But that doesn't bother me. You know, his story was really wonky, so who cares? But none of that stuff bothers me. Dark Horse had a few gems too, like Body Count. Dark Horse comics were weird. They never really. I can't say they didn't grab me. There were some good ones. They did all the alien stuff, right? I think Dark Horse had all the alien property. Something is killing the children. I just got that, as a matter of fact. Sorry for the throwback. You were 3 armatures deep in an airbrush. Shuri was the one character you didn't want to get the Black Panther mantle. I thought she was the worst choice. It was better as a secondary character. Well, I really liked her as a secondary character in the Black Panther movies, but that's why I say there needed to be more time before they gave her the mantle, because she was still not mature in the movie. And I get it. This all got thrown on them, is what we say. So we're not. That doesn't matter. They had to do what they had to do. But yeah, I think it's
that maturity comes into the movie.
Donny Cates' Venom run was great. Not a fan of the new writer. Yeah, I was never a big fan of like newer Spider-Man. The Venom with Todd McFarlane and all of that stuff is where I think everybody met Venom, right? And that was great. But past that, your friend was upset about Marvel and the original Captain Marvel because his last name was Wilson, I think, and he died of cancer, and he used to joke that was the only thing strong enough to kill a Wilson. And I think that goes back to what Jordan was saying, right? Is that, or what I was alluding to, is that you're trying to appeal to such a broad range of people that have touched the Marvel comics for such a broad space of time. Some people that have come in here in the last decade, where I can't even identify with them from a comic book standpoint because I haven't read anything Marvel. So I don't even know what's going on in the Marvel universe. I don't know what the characters are like anymore. I don't know what's going on in Spider-Man or Captain America or any of this. I don't know. I don't know who's died and been replaced, and I stopped paying attention to it, like I've been saying. But you're also dealing with a lot of people that have been around for, since the 70s and earlier. And so that gets hard to tie it all together because you want to appeal to, in an honest business sense, you want to appeal to the people that are going to keep your business alive for the longest. And people that were alive reading your comics in the 70s are not that crowd. I'm not your crowd.
People my age and younger.
Right? So, yeah, you want the 30-somethings and younger to really buy into your stuff and like it. And that just isn't me. I've had fun with it. Like I said, after the first cycle, I haven't enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed them turning Thor into a buddy cop movie where it has to throw absurd comedy into everything in order to have any reason to exist.
Horrible. To be fair, I didn't grow up with comics, and I still agree with you.
Yeah, it's horrible, right? They could have made Thor a much better character, and in turn made Loki a much better character, and then had Thor and Loki both exist in this world where now the Loki wouldn't have had to have been a show. They could have still made that choice.
That
but
show
the
was
Loki
good.
arc could have been with Kang and all of that, could have been the bigger picture and raked in ridiculous amounts of profit for them. But the only reason I believe that doesn't work is because they turned Thor into a 2-bit comedy that was useless. Because those characters should be the ones that they anchor Marvel off of right now. You can throw all the other ones in there that you want to, but that's where they had the ability to go after they got rid of Captain America, after they got rid of Iron Man, after Thanos is gone. They could have hung their hats in that direction, but they chose instead to turn it into comedy because Deadpool, I guess. It just seems stupid to me. But you agree a good character is a good character. Samuel L. Jackson is amazing. He is an amazing Nick Fury. And that Nick Fury comes from the Ultimates, right? So the Nick Fury, I think, largely grabbed from the Ultimates, which I thought was awesome, which was Mark Millar, right? Anybody remember? We're noobing out, or we're nerding out on comics heavy now. But Mark Millar, I think, did the Ultimates, and that was spectacular. Like, that was really good comic writing. But it pushed it was in that Marvel Knights or Marvel Mature or whatever they called it, right? Because it was the Avengers that killed people. Like, nasty killed people. Like, didn't put up with you and didn't want to sign your autographs and were bad people. So, because that came on the tail of the Authority doing so well, And so they created this sense of Marvel also having, darker heroes. They did your boy Thor dirty. Multiverse Killmonger over, yeah. See, they had so many options right then to have kept it going, but again, they have a bigger picture at hand, right? They don't have. I don't think that you attack movies, and I'm not a movie writer, right? But I don't think you can attack movies in the same sense that you would comic books, where you can be like, yeah, this comic book can last for years and years and years. I think with movies, you probably have a very finite timeline. So if Black Panther is not a huge part of the story arc moving forward, which I don't believe Black Panther, no matter who they give the mantle to, is a huge part of the story arc, then you don't invest in that, right? You don't. You make it Shuri. You do the movie, and you move on. And I think that's great. It's a shame that had to happen. But again, like I said, I think the shame of all of this is that in all of our talking, the only thing we can say about DC is they make crappy movies. And DC has the power to have just absolutely taken over right now. After the Thanos thing happened, DC should have been able to jump in and just rake it up. Because Marvel's been falling on their face, and DC can't get out of their own way. Never has been able. Warner, right? Warner Brothers is DC?
I think so.
And it's just a shame, man. Yeah, exactly. Like Miss Marvel needs help. She just blew up his ship by flying through it. She was super. They had to tone her down, which was a shame, right? Like, I really wanted to see Ms. Marvel just go toe to toe and save the day. I really like that character. I think Carol Danvers' character is amazing. I think that I want to see Rogue take her powers. Right? I think that if you're going to have Carol Danvers be in the universe and be great, that you got to live in an X-Men universe. Wonder Woman 1 was done really well by DC, but then again, World War II was odd. Or Wonder Woman 2, World War II. WW2 was odd. I didn't see the second one.
Terrible.
It was in the 80s, right?
It was horrible.
Yeah, everybody said it was really bad. The first one had Chris Pine.
Second one had Chris Pine too.
Oh, did? Yeah, I don't know. I thought Wonder Woman was okay. I think the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League is okay. I think that I had fun watching it. It doesn't represent a period in DC Comics that I know of because I never really paid attention to DC superheroes. I don't really know a lot about that. All my touches with DC superheroes has been stuff like Kingdom Come or, Doomsday killing Superman and the Dark Knight series from Frank Miller and, big blockbuster comic, DC things is all I know about DC, really. I never collected DC until it was John Constantine and all the weird Vertigo stuff. Lucifer and all that. So I really don't have a lot of things there, but I know that they have an amazing property. As soon, I think, see how many of you agree with me? DC should have been secretly shooting the Authority during the entire time they were leading up to Avengers Endgame. Right? And then as soon as Avengers Endgame came out, did its blockbuster thing, within a year, we should have seen the Authority Volume 1. Who's with me?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
He doesn't know anything. He doesn't read the Authority. He doesn't know the greatest comic book of all time. But if you wanted to win, DC, you needed to have made the Authority movie and had it hit within 12 months of Avengers Endgame, captivating the box office, and started your run with that. Because you have The Boys, you have Invincible, you have these irreverent superhero things. What was the other one that had, I'm never going to remember what it was. The superhero family. It was had Josh, never going to remember. But they should have done that. They should have had the Authority primed and ready to go and just let it go and just said, you know what? Screw you if you don't like it. Because the Authority is in your face like literally, it's like The Simpsons or South Park with superheroes. That's not a good way to say it. But it offends everybody all the time, 100%. In a way that just takes your standard superhero tropes and stands them on their head and is completely irreverent and completely blown out, but deals with a lot of social things that I think are big right now and could have been a real hit for DC. It dealt outside of the social norms. It had a homosexual superhero couple that was in the team. It had them adopting a daughter. It had one of them is a lesbian. It had I think their whole thing was that they had to treat the Earth better. Hell, one of them is the Doctor, who is like basically all the power of Mother Earth, and his whole thing was don't treat the Earth bad. They could have taken that and done a lot of social commentary with it in a vein that would have gotten a lot of people to pay attention. I think they could have been great. But DC's scared. I think they got so scared. I mean, The Authority was one of the most majorly censored books of all time, I think, when it came out. They went back and like redid panels in the book without telling the authors because it was so far over the top. They were afraid people were going to boycott them. But I think this would have been a good moment in time to have gone and done that comic. Because it was tremendous. Mo says, what's The Authority? Only the best comic book of all time. Go buy it. Do not pass go. Go get the collected editions. It's amazing. Some of the most amazing characters and situations and things you will ever see in a comic book. Like I said, two of the main characters in The Authority. It's a super team, right? It's a super team that owns or finds the Bleed ship, which is an alien ship. The Shi'ar. I can't remember what the alien empire is in DC that owns it, but they own the ship that they get. It is a Bleed ship. It lives in the lines in between realities, and so they're in the Bleed monitoring Earth, and they basically say if you screw up, we're coming for you. They tell all the world's leaders nobody's safe. Doesn't matter what country you're for. They're not like Superman defending the United States. They're like, nah, everybody sucks. If you don't get your act together, we're coming for you. If the US acts out, they go invade the White House. It turns out it's very authoritarian. It's Shi'ar. Yeah, I think so, Hugh Hefner. I feel like that's right. But of course, it's also very tongue-in-cheek with some of the stuff because, like I said, two of the main characters in The Authority, Apollo and the Midnighter, are a couple, and they represent Batman and Superman, which is probably why they would never make it into a show. Because they are literally the make fun of Batman and Superman characters. They're also tremendous characters. Apollo gets a little whiny sometimes and a little hard to follow. The Midnighter is a spectacular character in the entire series. And the two of them together and their quarrels, their lovers' quarrels and stuff are amazing. Great book, tons of personality, great stories, tons of ultra violence. If you're into ultra violence, it may have had to have been NC-17 if they ever did it. Because I don't know that you could film The Authority and tone it down. I think it would lose its luster. You remember that name from the X-Men TV show, and whose Cyclops' father was fighting off in space, the Shi'ar? Well, the Shi'ar may have been Marvel then. It's a James Gunn DC universe now. I'm loosely excited for this. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think he can salvage for DC some sort of redemption in movies? What do you do with Superman now that you don't have Cavill? Did Cavill ruin the character for anybody else being able to take the mantle? Or is it so ubiquitous and there's been so many already that you think somebody else can come in and do a great Superman?
I think it's hard to beat Cavill.
The guy in the TV series is horrible.
Oh, yeah. We don't even need to talk.
Reeves was the personification. I feel like Reeves was the best Clark Kent, but the worst Superman. I think Cavill is far and away the best Superman.
Superman movie is the only DC movie I've ever liked.
With Cavill?
Yep.
It's really good, isn't it?
It is incredible.
I really thought it was good. The CGI sucks in some of the parts, so I get why it got lambasted for the city fight scene with the other Kryptonians.
I thought that was fun.
But it was, the CGI was pretty bad.
Yeah, even then, I didn't have any problem.
I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't care, but I can see where people were coming from. How you doing over there?
Yeah, it's rough around the edge. First day back is tough.
Cavill is about to ruin a 40K character for all future actors. You like Brandon Routh, but your Superman expert buddy says he didn't do it right because he let bad guys get squished and just let it happen. Because Superman didn't believe in killing.
Well, I think the whole idea is that the first time that he's ever been in a situation where he had to do was fighting something that was strong enough that he couldn't just, solve the problem.
Again, I kind of can't speak with any authority on it because I was never a Superman fan. You knew about Superman, but to be honest, the only Superman comic book I owned as a kid was the giant-sized Spider-Man versus Superman, which is a thing. DC Marvel crossover in the big, huge, coffee table book style. And I still have it to this day. but that's the only Superman comic book that I've ever owned that I know of. There may be a couple of Superman comics that I've owned as an adult where there was a cool run of storyline with an author I liked, so I'd grab it. But I can't remember any of those off the top of my head, so. James did fantastic with Peacemaker. James Gunn? The only problem with the Cavill Superman movies is that if you watch the fight scenes, he's the one choosing the actions that cause the most damage to this city.
I think the thing that people need to remember is that, like, this is very young Superman, right? This is not Superman who's been around for a long time. This is like 21-year-old Superman who's just picked up the cape.
Yeah, I really like the fact that Superman hasn't found his way into adulthood, and all the other Superman movies were just instantaneous right into it, right? Yeah. They already had all their morality figured out. They already had, none of them went through a childhood that mattered in the movies, I don't think, other than to tell the story of them being found and being raised on a farm. So I like the moral conundrum and all of that he faced.
There's also the concept of, like, he's having to go up against somebody whose powers he only vaguely understands. He doesn't really understand his own powers. He has them, but he doesn't know much about his background at this point in time.
Yeah.
So, like, he's having to figure it out as he goes. Right?
Yep. I liked it. I liked that they put a lot of thought into him and brought a human standpoint because he was raised amongst humans. He wasn't just this instantaneous superhero.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Why whenever people have the like, oh, well, he didn't protect people. I was just like, well,
he'll learn.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like he still needs to learn how to do that. That's not something you just.
But granted, I like superheroes with more human aspects as opposed to the complete getaway of, you know, superhumans that are you know, good or bad. I like the moral ambiguity that can come with the responsibility of that power. That's the appeal of The Boys. The Boys is even it takes it even a step further because they're all manufactured, right? So when you have manufactured superheroes, now you have the long-lasting effects of the moral dilemma of these humans before they got powers, or if they were born, you know, injected as children and then raised with these powers amongst humans and all that. But you're right. That's exactly why The Boys becomes appealing in that sense. There's a bunch of really good comics out there, some of which are DC specific and others that are just indie comics that run with the trope of, you know, what if Superman didn't land in the U.S. in Kansas to those parents. That movie, Oh my God, what was the movie that had the kid who was Superman, but he was evil? Like he decided that kids bullying him and stuff like that, that people weren't worth protecting, and so he got bad. Does anybody remember what this was? Brightburn. Yeah, Brightburn was the movie. Red Sun was the one where he landed in Russia. And then there's another one that's called like Hero or something like that. That's a teenage kid that I think Brightburn. Well, it's not hard to get inspired for what if Superman stories. What if Superman was a bad kid, you know, raised by bad parents that didn't love him. His mom loved him, but his dad was like, and Brightburn was like, nah, this kid's there's something wrong with this kid. You know, he wasn't all hype about finding a kid in an alien ship like mom was. He was like, this kid, we got to get rid of this kid. And of course, mom protected him, and Brightburn killed dad. So there you go. If you haven't seen Brightburn, it's actually a pretty good movie. I definitely enjoy it. Makes himself a cape. Goes and blows up an airplane. Kills everybody that ever made fun of him. It's more thought-provoking than any Superman tale, right? Because you're like, wow, what would happen if Superman did turn against you? It does bring into light all of the things that in comics they've both DC and Marvel have kind of approached from time to time, like having a contingent for if these people are no longer nice to you, right? Like, what do you do as lowly human beings if the gods turn against you? That's been a trope in comics for a long time. It's what did the Civil War series for Marvel. And I was like that.
That coincidentally happens to be my favorite of the movies.
The Batman protocols, yeah. Yeah, in Brightburn, when he reaches, remember when in Brightburn the lawnmower flips over and is spinning, and he's just looking at it. The kid's mesmerized because he knows he's different, and so he wants to see how far he can go. And he literally just sits there, and it's a really deep moment where he just is looking at it. He's drawn in by it, and he puts his hand in the blade, the spinning blade of the lawnmower. Right? Kingdom Come. If you have not read Kingdom Come, it's in both a hardback, no graphics book, which is fantastic, by the way. I think it's on Audible, and it's also a graphic novel. If you have not read Kingdom Come, it is by far, I think, one of the quintessential pieces of DC Comics history that you should read. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah. Clark's just out on a farm, not just minding his own business, farming, and doesn't care anymore. He's not helping the people, doesn't care. Superman has given up. Yeah, Kingdom Come is mind-blowing. I always, when I've taken a lot of time off of collecting comics and stuff, I always go into comic books, and one of the first things I say is I say, hey, I'll say, hey, what's new, and what do you recommend? And they go, what do you like? And I like Kingdom Come. And they're like, there's never been another book written that compares. Like, to a T, everybody that I'll go into their comic book shop, if they know what they're talking about, will be the same. They'll be like, yeah, so no, there's nothing else quite like that. It's phenomenal. And I got it on a recommendation from a buddy of mine because, like I said, I was never a big DC fan. And he's like, I don't care. He goes, it is not your standard Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You need to read this book. I did. I went and got it. And read it. And then liked it so much I went and got the hardback version that didn't have any graphics in it, right? It's just the novel. It's spectacular. I don't think Baby J is into work day. He's sick. He's still not feeling good, and he hadn't talked a lot in a week, so he's not talking because he's going to cough himself to death.
Yeah, my voice is pretty screwed up. I'm hoping, given a couple more days, that...
Did you just break the mini?
Me?
Did you just break something?
I broke something off. Where it went?
Like a little piece?
Yeah, just a little piece.
Oh, like a spiky bit or something?
Yeah. Oh. We're trying, chat. It's tough. The cough is getting better.
Bad Paint Done Worse. Isn't there a new series where women get the ability to electrocute people and the different things they do with this shift of power? Oh, I don't know. All you have to do is read Why the Last Man if you want a shift of power series. It's also very good. Delta says, if you place an order through the website, do you get a tracking number? You do. As soon as it ships, you will. Shovel says, I looked away and the salon is basically done.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's like painting a mile a minute.
I told you I was going to paint it fast.
I have painted some armor. I have painted some armor.
I told you we were going to go really fast. And this plus some dry brushes. A little bit of highlighting. Picking out those last little bits. Well, good.
Mo, you read what graphic novel? Kingdom Come? Yeah, it's good. It's one of the few I'll go back and read again. The Frank Miller Dark Knight. Dark Knight Returns. Is that the original one? Well, there was the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Returns is the big one that everybody loves. I'll read that. I'll read Killing Joke. I think Killing Joke is one of the best comics ever written. What else do I go back to a lot? The Authority, the entire Authority and Stormwatch series and the tie-ins from that I will read. I have all of those. I wish you could get them all in like one big chronological order compendium. That would be great. I don't know, maybe they make that. But I have all the old original collected editions and individual comics for the Authority, so it makes it tough to go back and read. But I read that all the time. Well, not all the time, but when I go back and read comics, I'll read that. The Hellblazer stuff, Swamp Thing, Transmetropolitan, Lucifer, Watchmen. Yeah.
So, I asked this about a little earlier, but tell me about Constantine. I've always been fascinated by it.
So,
It like tickles all the things that I'm interested
at his best, right? Shovels, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing the million brushstrokes version of non-metallic bronze. It's gonna wind up like around his waist. I did the waist as a test, and then we're building up everything else. So slowly but surely, getting to a point to where the rest of the model is going to catch up.
I'm doing my million-mile-an-hour slam,
Which is awesome, by the way. The so Constantine is a guy who basically can consort. He's a magician, right?
Yes.
In the mystical sense, he's very irreverent. He doesn't like what he can do, but he's one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe.
Really?
Yes. He can pretty much call forth any demon whose name he knows instantaneously from anywhere they are, and they can't do anything about it. From hell. Okay. He doesn't give a damn about angels or any of that. And his exploits are legion, but he's written very oddly because depending on who's writing the stories, he either feels underwhelming or very overwhelming. For me, at least, and I haven't read everything Constantine, because most of where he comes into my purview is through the Hellblazer series, which was the Vertigo, where they took him on his trip, and is pretty amazing. But then also in the Swamp Thing, right? So he's very interesting. If you like, he's nothing like what you've seen in the Keanu Reeves movie.
Okay.
Other than, I guess, the fact that all that weird crap goes on, you know, he's having to deal with Lucifer and all of these characters that seem very extreme. But think John Wick, but he's on a first name basis with all theological entities. Yes, there you go. But he's very, what's the right way to put it? He's apathetic. He doesn't really care. He has to be he would rather like go and drink and smoke himself into oblivion than to do anything meaningful. Right? He's very
He just doesn't care.
Huh?
Care.
He does. He doesn't want to have anybody know it though, right? He's a very interesting character. It's a very interesting read. The Hellblazer series is good. If you want to read about John Constantine, get the Hellblazer series. It's a bunch of collected editions. And a very, very good story arc. Young Sting, yeah. Sinestro is one of your favorite characters? Bad Paint Done Worse asked, is the Keanu Reeves Constantine version of Satan the best depiction of Satan ever? Yes. That really guy good. Is phenomenal, by really the way. Good. And also Gabriel using What's-Her-Nuts.
Not Gwendolyn Christie.
No. She's just most recently been in the same type of a role in The Sandman. No. That's Gwendolyn Christie.
They kind of fit similar roles.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that she plays an androgynous.
Michael or Gabriel?
I thought that was really cool. Also, Constantine's one of my favorite movies.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah. The stupid gun and some of the stuff they did was kind of silly, but I liked it a lot. It is a very, very good movie. The crossbow or whatever it was with the revolver thing going on was kind of stupid. But for the time they were making movies, that's what they did. It was like very Die Hard. It was very what they needed to make the movie fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sandman was great, too.
Phoenix, have I ever watched a Lucifer TV show from Fox? No.
That is hot garbage.
I've heard it's horrible. I've heard it's like a WB show, and I don't want to think that it has anything to do with the DC Lucifer. The DC Lucifer series is phenomenal. Some of the best stuff out there.
It is hot fire garbage.
You like smart, manipulative versions of Satan over big growling monster Satan? I like the fact, and I can't remember what that guy's name in Constantine was. He's a great actor, and he was very, like, when he walked, it left ash. His foot, he was barefoot in a white suit, and everywhere he walked, he left ash where he walked, and I thought
he, like,
that
slimes himself out of the...
freaking great.
Yeah.
The character, just the way they presented and everything was awesome. Peter Stormare. Okay. Yeah, they made Constantine's daughter. It's not John Constantine. She is a Constantine in the Sandman. I can't remember. I read about it and where she fits in the lineage of the thing. They didn't replace. She's different.
Yeah, it's not John Constantine.
It's not John Constantine. They didn't just say, "Hey, John Constantine's a female now in Sandman." It's like his daughter or I don't know. I don't remember now. I read it because I thought that was odd. I was like, wait a minute, did they just replace John Constantine with a woman? But it wasn't. Joanna Constantine, yeah. Tar, yeah, it was like a liquid, like tar, yeah. Like his grandma, yeah. Somewhere in the family lineage thing, right, from a previous time period, yeah. Hugh Hefner's got it. Mark Hamill as the voice of the Joker is one of your favorites in DC. I never watched many of the comics or many of the cartoons. There's a couple of the movies that I watched that are in the cartoon vein, and they're tough for me because the cartooniness of them makes them hard to watch. But some of them are very serious stories, and I've enjoyed it. The Killing Joke was like that. It was kind of cartoony in its visual, but a very good story.
His Joker voice is really good. Pretty good.
Batman the Animated Series was great. A lot of people say that. Again, I just don't care enough about that stuff to really give a damn. If you're expecting superhero stuff from Fox Lucifer, it's not that at all. Well, I mean, the Lucifer comics weren't superhero stuff either, but they're just much deeper than him running around in a buddy cop show. I don't think that the TV show has anything to do with the comics. I think it's the character, but I don't think it has anything to do with the comics. From what I understand, he like works with the cops and stuff and all of that. I think the only thing that was the same is that he owned a bar.
Yeah, in the TV show, he basically abandoned himself. He abandons his post and leaves for Earth. TV show is bad, and
everything I've seen has been bad. I haven't tried to watch it though. I can't.
This is also coming from a person who likes bad. But I'm starting to get better at acknowledging when they're bad.
I gave Sandman a good run. I wanted to have it work, and I just couldn't watch it. And I don't know if it's just because in some spots the acting is so terrible that it made it hard to watch. But I really like some of the characters. I thought Dream was pretty good. I liked the first episodes where they captured Dream and all of that was really well. Then it just kind of lost me.
Did you get to the episode in the diner?
Diner?
Yeah.
Maybe not. What was it?
The dude with the crystal hangs out in a diner and manipulates people.
Oh yeah. That one was really good.
That was an incredible episode.
Yeah, that one was really, really good.
Like probably the best episode.
Phoenix Mercury, you said John Carter ? What are we talking about? You're not bringing up the Princess of Mars movie, are you? Paint liquor. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It just got to the point where it didn't catch me anymore for going back and watching. It started dragging for me, so it just wasn't interesting. You're a lover of B-movie trash. I never have been. I don't know why. It's not like I have to have big, huge AAA production, but I need it to have a really good storyline. I need the acting to be tight, right? I need to have the acting be believable for me to spend my time watching it. Sometimes you just get really bad actors That really blew it for me. In what's a Star Wars thing with the is it Andor that has the no. Which one has the Inquisitors? Kenobi. Lost me.
Kenobi.
That one Inquisitor is horrible.
Which one?
All
Han?
of them. Huh?
Han?
Third sister?
Sure.
Horrible actress.
You know that the guy who plays Han from
The Solo movie?
no, Han from like Fast and Furious.
I don't know
Asian
Fast
guy.
and Furious.
Oh, okay, the Asian guy. He's one of the.
Okay. I didn't understand the dynamic there, but she was very 20th century in the way her vocal and acting and cadence went, and it ruined it for me. I was like, wow, this storyline is going to be cool.
Talking about the angry
what
one?
the heck?
Talking about the angry one.
She's very angry. Yeah.
She was too angry.
Yeah, well, and I don't know that anger was a bad thing. It was the way it was presented was very like you and me talking right now in the 21st century. It's very street talk, 21st century. And I'm like, I don't think you make it through the imperial conditioning being able to be that way. You know? It didn't feel right for some reason. Phoenix Mercy, you're saying no, it was called John Carter, 2000s movie. So it's the Princess of Mars movie that you're mentioning in my presence, and you're calling it John Carter, and I'm going to get angry. It's a great one. It's obviously the Princess of Mars, and the movie was really good, right? I think all the Barsoomians were really good, and Disney shot themselves in the foot and called it John Carter. We've talked about that a lot on the stream. That if we could get in a room with the person that decided to call it John Carter, it would not go well for that person. That's one of my most beloved fictions, right? That Pulp Fiction era where you get Tarzan, you get John Carter, you get Conan, you get all of these pulpy kind of fiction writers, and then you have a movie that was actually really good. I thought it was fun. I thought the CGI was pretty good. They did the Barsoomian stuff really well, the White Apes. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was horrible marketing. Nobody knew what that movie was, and nobody got excited about it. If you would have called it A Princess of Mars or John Carter, Warlord of Mars, somebody in a room said, that's too many words, just call it John Carter. And they killed it, because it should have had sequels. They could have told the entire story of Barsoom in movies, and it would have been great. I would have been at every single one of them. Just take my money. There was a Princess of Mars on Sci-Fi Channel, like a series. I didn't know this. The episode where Dream met up with the Immortal every 100 years was great. Yep.
Oh, that was
fantastic. Fantastic. I enjoyed that it was like they both viewed each other as the only one in their lives that they could hang on to as being a friend.
Yeah.
It was so poignant, that whole thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I think that Sandman has some really great episodes.
I really love the bet.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got to get out of here. We're done. I can sit here and talk sci-fi, fantasy, superhero crap with you guys for years.
But I'm almost done.
Huh?
But I'm almost done.
Well, you're not, though.
I mean, I'm pretty close to being done.
Are you pretty close to being done? I mean, the base isn't done.
I'll be done tomorrow.
Yeah, you said you'd do it in 2 days, and I don't doubt you for an instant after watching your progress today.
Yeah.
I'll be done tomorrow, too, chat. Not true. Not true. Thanks for hanging out with us, watching some paint dry. Again, remember, if you're new here, hit that follow button. We stream 5 days a week, and usually Baby J talks more.
Sorry, guys.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from noon to 2 like today, and Tuesday and Thursday like tomorrow coming up. We start at that 2 p.m. slot still and go till 5, so for a little bit longer. So we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid for some more hobby goodness as you go off into your evening. Have a wonderful one. We will catch you on the flip side and see you back here tomorrow.
Good night, Grace.
Take it easy. Good night, Gracie.